Hello campers, and welcome to my first video on the Albion Zodiac Tour, the new series that I'm going to be doing now that we've got the motorhome, and we're going to be doing boots on the ground around the UK. And this is just a little trial run we did, a little run from Runcorn down to Holyhead and round Anglesey. And I'm just going to show you a few little clips. We weren't fully geared up to do the full. I wanted to put me dash cams on and get some footage and show you. But we took a few pictures and a few videos, and there's a bit of drone footage. But initially, what I'm going to be talking about here is the Albion Zodiac. This is the giant zodiac in the landscape of the United Kingdom. As I've previously discussed, my designer coastline video started my exploration into this, and it continued into my Star Forts number 11 video and featured heavily in Star Forts number 12, a little bit off subject, maybe not. So, as I say, we all our trips are going to start in Runcorn, as that's where we live. And so Runcorn is in the, well, it's on the arm of Gemini. And this is Gemini. This Gemini is approximately 95 miles tall and 38 miles wide. This isn't the largest zodiac sign in the landscape, but it's where we are and where we start. And so we will also be passing through Taurus, who is sort of like the North Wales coast, basically from Chester over to the Great Orme, which is a horn. And we find a lot of this spelling and words tend to be corrupted over time, but initially, when I suppose the written language was introduced, we looked to the Phoenicians, who developed a phonetical alphabet, a phonetic alphabet, which basically the letters produce the sounds, as you've probably learnt when you were a very young child. And the arrangement of the letters have been standardized to produce our language. However, they weren't always standardized, and so it's the Orme bit of horn, and there is even a horn cave on the Orme. But yeah, there's going to be lots of these references we will find. Like I say, when I was in the looking at the Taurus that I found in the US that started at the Big Horn National Park, which was the Horn, near Buffalo in Wyoming, and it went down to into Colorado, and there was the eye of the buffalo, and we found Buffalo Peak, and there were just lots of buffalo references. And then later on, when I was looking at the nose band across the buffalo, I also noticed that the I-70 highway only deviated off its straight line east-west course to go around Buffalo Mountain. However, the valley actually went in a straight line. But yeah, go back. That's video 12 of the Star Fort series, I think, at the end of there. And as I say, our little journey, we went on to Anglesey, which is the head of Virgo and into Holyhead, which the picture that I show here is based up on Graham Griffiths' depictions of the zodiac within the landscape. However, when I look at the head, when I look at Anglesey and the head there, I see more of an Egyptian head with a snake headdress on. Now, on this depiction of an Egyptian headdress, the snake also has a crown. Holyhead's crown appears to be more modern, although it could well have been a sun disk with horns, or even a Sumerian style hat with just lots of erosion. I've traced around it here, and also the body of the snake is a bit more curvaceous, as might be seen on an Egyptian death mask, or indeed on hieroglyphics and on the paintings and stone carvings in Egypt. But either way, I do see this as a royal or deity's crown with a snake head on it, very similar to what we would see on the Egyptian artifacts. On to the journey. Setting off from Runcorn, we went down the M56 and headed off. We actually went to Llandudno first, but because the road up to the summit of the Orme from the town was actually closed for roadworks, we then decided to go on to Anglesey, and we made our first stop in Rosniger, which is the Eye of Virgo, and I've got one picture from there. Basically, I got the sunset over Rosniger, and then realised that the lights on the van weren't actually working, so we decided to head off towards Holyhead and make a stop overnight in a lay-by on the A55, the first lay-by as we entered Holy Island. So after our overnight stop, this was the scene outside our room, our mobile home. This is the A55 as it comes onto Holy Island, and we can see the sunrise is just not long since happened. It was just coming over the hills behind us, and as I pan round, we'll see Treader Bay, which is about 2 kilometres or 1¼ miles away, and then to the north here, the peak is the North Stack, which is probably around about 4 kilometres, 2½ miles away, and between here and there is Holyhead Port, which is actually on the east side of Holy Island, and we can see there's a ferry in the port ready to go over to Dublin, and we'll just pan around. There's not a lot to see. You can see the water between Holy Island and Anglesey there in the distance, and yeah, so I was trying out the drone again for the morning, which was quite calm in terms of wind, so I was able to get some nice steady shots, and that's Holyhead. And we drove into Holyhead and around the sort of below the North Stack and over to Treader, which is just below the South Stack, which follows the line of the crown on the road. It was rather a narrow road and not many opportunities to stop, and we ended back up in Treador Bay, where I took a little bit of footage. This is off my phone. As I say, the wind had picked up a little bit by then, and so it wasn't really suitable for the drone, and so I just got the phone out and took a little video there of Treador Bay, and had a cup of tea, and then basically we set off then to head back towards the Orme, as we decided to go up the back road of the Orme. But before we get there, we went around the top of Anglesey, which is a road I've never really been on before, and I made a little pit stop in Bull Bay. Never been to it, never heard of it before. This is all totally new. We just totally didn't plan anything. It was just all off the cuff. A little tour of Anglesey and Holyhead, and as I say, the main objective we set off with was to get up the Orme. So after our little pit stop and a cup of tea in Bull Bay, we then set off down the road again, heading towards Llandudno and the Orme. There was an interesting little board telling us all about Bull Bay, and also mentioning the copper mines, which I didn't realise they used to be the largest copper mines in Europe were on Anglesey. Whether that was, I don't know, was that part of the design of Virgo's head? Was it a hair? I don't know. It could have been anything really. At this stage, we don't know what we've lost. We know we've lost something, but we don't know quite what we've lost in terms of history. And well, this is partly why I'm going round looking. Let's see what's missing. Let's see what we don't know. And these are the reasons for my video. So we set off from Bull Bay down the east coast of Anglesey, and along the coastline heading towards Llandudno. Now this is a close-up of the Orme, and the road to the north of the summit is the road we had to enter by, which means first passing along the coast edge toll road to the northeast of the Orme, the Great Orme, and then we find ourselves at the bottom of a series of switchback bends. So we're sort of travelling round the Orme anti-clockwise, and I've had to call into the 3D LiDAR system here just to show you how much of a switchback it is. And if I rotate this and then show you, there's a vertical height as well up this switchback, up the top, just to get onto the top sort of plateau there, which were rather tight switchbacks, to be honest, but I was ready for the challenge, and we got up there, no problem, not too much of a problem. And then this was the car park at the summit. Again, as usual, on the top of the Orme, Great Orme, it was quite breezy. Again, we pulled up, had a nice cup of tea, and again, I took my camera phone out and did a couple of panoramic views for you from the top of the Great Orme. There are, oh, I don't know what they tell you they are, they're mines allegedly. This nice bit of blockwork, this quarry there, and then people have laid stones on the hills to write messages. There's even a God save, Jesus saves, and a cross, but more on that one further down the line. There's a very interesting one to view on that one. This is just looking over now. We can see, well, we can't quite see Anglesey in the distance. And so to come away from the summit of the Great Orme, we had to travel back down the switchback bends, and Jilly Bling has kindly provided us with some photos of us going down the hill, past the graveyard and around the bends and heading towards the switchbacks here, and pictures of windmills in the sea, and round the switchback and finally down onto the bottom of the road. And we made our way round then to a motorhome friendly car park, and got ourselves a 24-hour ticket before reading the sign that said we couldn't park overnight. But we don't think they can enforce that, really. There's a few signs now popping up, especially around Wales and the tourist areas, that's no overnight parking. I mean, the lay-by on the A55 said no more than 4 hours parking at a time, and I thought, well, they cannot possibly uphold that one. If you get a truck on his tachograph, he's got to have an 8-hour rest, and so they can't uphold the 4-hour rule or no overnight parking anyway. But here's some pictures now of the Orme from ground level within Llandudno, and then here's some video footage from the drone, obviously not ground level. I really need to, I suppose, to start taking note, although I think I can get the details off this, of the height that the drone is at here. Again, this is basically directly above where we've parked, and you can only really see the front edge of the Orme, so this is no more than you would see from the town centre, and there's an awful lot to see in the town centre, and I'm sure we'll be coming back. Certainly I would like to come back and do some videos and regarding the buildings, and that's the Grand Hotel in front of the pier that we're looking at now, and the hotels on the front, on the waterfront, and then the main shopping street is sort of just behind there, and yeah, there's some beautiful buildings there that I will definitely have to come back and do future videos on. And if we pan round now to the Orme, I'm going to get a bit more elevation on this for you, just to see, just show you really how much you miss from ground level, just of the Orme. It's a very large headland, really, that you only see you only see the back end of it. You certainly don't see the tip. And as you see, as we increase the elevation here, I'm not entirely sure. The summit's probably just coming into view now, but there's an awful lot of land there, and if this is modelled to be the horn of Taurus, then who knows what's underneath there. If this is all, you know, past design built, are there caves? Is there I mean, how much could you fit under there? You could fit an awful lot of people under that if it was hollow. If it was hollow like Cyprus. If you haven't watched my Cyprus special video, that's a very interesting video. But as I say, we will be coming back to Llandudno. You can see the pier better now, just beyond the Grand Hotel. And that's the little Orme down there, the other end of the beach, the bay. And I'm just going to pan round and say we are going to definitely be coming back. In fact, we'll pan down. This is the car park we were in, which we had literally to ourselves. There we are, the little white blob in the middle. That's us. And we ignored the overnight ruling on motorhomes. And it's a very pleasant sleep, actually, and there seems to be no Wi-Fi signal when you're inside. I don't know whether we've got a Faraday cage with all our silver-lined blinds, our blackout blinds in there. It's very pleasant, yes. I look forward to future trips. This was obviously our first trip out, so that was only our second night in the van. And I'm really looking forward to doing a lot more trips. We're going to have most weekends free to go off, and let's see how much of this Zodiac, Albion Zodiac, we can find. And so on the way home, we took the coast road following the back of the Bull, and where the pimple is on the back of the Bull, we find Flint, and we had an impromptu stop at Flint Castle. And these are some pictures I've taken of Flint Castle, and it's again another tourist attraction. I'm not super keen on tourist attractions. I do think it's like this is what you're allowed to see, and follow their narrative. I took some more drone footage, and I've also included a 3D LiDAR image for you, just to see, so you can see the lay of the land. Let's say this is about halfway down. Taurus is back on the coast, and looking out, we're in the River Dee estuary, and so obviously we're looking over towards Gemini's Arm, the Birkenhead Peninsula, where I believe in the past couple of weeks they've discovered, well, they're telling us it's a Viking longboat. I'm not sure how deep underneath the car park the Viking longboat is, but they've been digging up a car park to pull out a Viking longboat. We shall see. I'm sure I will make reference to this in future videos for you as the news comes out. And there you go. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. Thanks. I'm making these videos to change the way you think, because almost everything you have been taught was designed to program you to stop thinking critically and accept everything you are told as truth without question.